So thank you guys for coming. We're going to go through Open Refine today. My name is Dee. I'm MBA IPD final semester, and this is Bara. She's our lovely assistant. So if you do have questions, we'll go slowly through, but you can call Bara over anytime. So Open Refine is a really great tool to use. It's free, open source. You can download it on your Mac or PC. It's really nice if you have big, messy data. It's very similar to Excel, actually, in terms of cleaning your data and simplifying it. I like Open Refine a bit more because I think the interface is just easier, and to me it seems less daunting than Excel when you're cleaning a lot of data at one time. So we're going to go through it. So if you were on the META Lab website, under the resources, you go to Data Cleaning, Open Refine, and you can download the data sheet that we're going to be working with. It's called Refine. So just save that to the desktop, and then search for Open Refine. It has the little diamond, and that should pop up and look like this.
Can you repeat that process one more time?
Yeah, so if you, at least on the PCs, I know yours is already up on your computer, but let me X out. Just type down at the bottom, Open Refine, and it should be saved on your desktop. Awesome, click on that, and then it should open up pretty quickly. Do you guys get there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So under Browse, just look for your data sheet. It should be called Refine, save to the desktop. Open that up.
Where's that data sheet?
Oh, so if you go to the META Lab website, under Resources, there's Data Cleaning and Open Refine.
Mm-hmm.
So just click on that, and then you'll see that it prompts you the necessary data set is here. Just click on that. Spreadsheet is called Refine. And then download it and save it to the desktop.
Okay.
And then that's going to be the data that we'll be working with today. Awesome. So after you browse and you find your data, just click on the spreadsheet, hit Next, and it should bring you the data. You guys did it show up for you too?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay. So, cool, so now we're in Open Refine, so let's just give our project a name. So at the top, just title it Refine Geek Out. And then whenever you're done, just hit Create Project. Awesome, you guys there? Cool.
2 seconds.
Oh, take your time.
Okay, got it.
Awesome. So, yay, you've just made your first project. So now we're in we're in the program, and you can see we'll just take a really quick look around. You can see it shows you data in 5, 10, 25, or 50 rows. And under each column, you'll see these little triangles. So if you click on one, it'll give you Facet, the text filter, how you can sort or view your data. You can collapse the columns to the left or the right. You can move one column over to the beginning or to the end. You can sort it as you'd like. But the major thing you'll want to look at is under that triangle Facet is Text Facet. That's where you can actually pull up just the information on one column, and then you can edit that one column. So that's just really quickly those triangles and how you look at them. So I'm going to click on mine to show me 25 at a time. So really important when you're cleaning data, there's always an issue of white leading spaces. A lot of times respondents will type in 25 and space. So when you import your data, that space can cause issues when you're later trying to analyze it. So what we want to do is delete any of the leading white spaces that might be in some of those responses. So what you're going to want to do is you'll go to, let's start off at column titled Position. You'll go to Edit Cells. Go over to Common Transformations. And then you'll see, you can click either or actually, they'll do the same thing. So you can trim leading and trailing white space or collapse consecutive white space. So I'm gonna click on trim leading. Awesome. And it always tells you up front what action it has completed. And if you ever need to undo or redo, you just click over on the left-hand side. It gives you the option if you need to. So I'm gonna come out of that. So great, so now what I want you to do is go through each column and trim the leading white spaces. So do the exact same thing that we just did. So under person, come to edit cells, common transformations, trim the leading and trailing white space. Does that make sense? Any questions on that part?
Just we're trimming the spaces in each of the columns so the spaces don't mess up. Right?
Exactly. Perfect, thank you. Cool, when you guys are done, just let me know.
So, one question.
Mhm.
So, I generally understand why we're trimming the white spaces, because I'll mess up later. But how exactly do they mess you up if you don't do it?
So, great question. So, if I were to type in, what is position student? If I typed in student, and then I left a space,
Right.
and another person typed student,
They put those in two different categories.
with no space, exactly, then they're not the same. So you're branching off your data when you shouldn't be. So that's basically why I want to make sure that you get rid of those white spaces early, because it really messes up things later.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Can we move forward?
I'm closer.
Oh, take your time.
Halfway there.
Cool. So then what else is, you can go through that, I'm just, broadly speaking. It gives you a lot of filters and facets for each column. So you can select the subsets of your data, and it gives you different options of how you can filter them. So if you look under position, or even like department, you can see G style, lowercase, but then you've got it uppercase, and then sometimes people capitalize 2 letters, not the rest of the word. So under facets, those little triangles, and we'll get to that, it gives you the option to condense it and merge them and make them all the same.
Okay.
So that it's not a bunch of categories, but it's just one category. And we'll go through that.
Okay, we're good.
Awesome. So now we're gonna practice doing just that, merging and clustering some of the data that we have in our columns. So let's go under position. And under facet, just come over to the right-hand side and click text facet. So do you see this issue here? If we only have two choices, right, faculty and student, but because of all the different variations that people have typed in, we've got a bunch, we have 10 choices and we should really only have 2. So what you're gonna do is, on the right-hand side of that facet, click cluster. And what's really nice about it is the program's really smart. It recognizes that these are probably the same thing, and it gives you options if you want to merge them. So let's go ahead and merge capital student and lowercase student, and let's merge this one, and let's merge faculty and uppercase faculty. So you're going to tick mark yes merge for all 3, and then select merge selected and close. Cool, so by doing that, do you guys have 7 choices now from 10? Awesome. So by doing that, we've erased 3 other options that were there. Now we're going to go through and manually merge the rest of them. So if you hover over one choice, it gives you the edit button. Click on edit. So instead of F, let's call this faculty with a capital F. And then once you do that, you can hit apply. So you can see that one that was just a capital F has now gone into faculty. So do that for the other 2. Under the one that's fac, F-A-C, hit edit, and title it faculty with a capital F. Apply. And then we want to do that for the last faculty, that's a lowercase f. So edit that, same thing. Let's change it to faculty with a capital F and apply that. Awesome, so now we only have 5 choices. So let's do the exact same thing for student. You can see those 4 different student groups. Let's choose student with a capital S out, S at the end. And I like this function here. If you go to undo redo, you can always get rid of it. Just you can change anything that you've already done. You just click on it and then hit apply. So it keeps track of the things that you've done throughout the process. I like that about OpenRefine because a lot of times in Excel, you can undo, but if you've gone too far and you don't remember if you've done it, then you're kind of lost. Cool. So we'll go back out to Facet and Filter. So do you guys have only 2 choices now also? Awesome. So let's X out of position. And now let's go to department. So similar to Excel, there's a bunch of ways you can do the same thing in OpenRefine. So we're going to do the same thing that we just did and cluster and make only 2 groups. Because now we have different ways that people have written G-style and GSIPM. So if you come to edit cells, so under department you go to edit cells, and then common transforms, and then you can change it to however you want it. So if you want all of them to be title case, uppercase, or lowercase, pick whichever one you want. I'm going to pick uppercase. Cool, so now the 2 options are all uppercase, so it doesn't have to be confusing for anyone. Cool. So
can you do that one more time?
So you go under department. You're going to go to edit cells, common transforms, and then under here it gives you title case, uppercase, lowercase. So I'm going to change it to lowercase now. Now they're all lowercase. So edit cells, we can do common transforms. I'm going to go back to uppercase.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah, so, and what I like about it is that they give you a lot, there's a lot of tutorials online to show you all the different ways you can do it. I try and just do things the same way. It's easier for me. So let's try and clean out, let's look at the text facet for which category best describes you. So let's go facet, text facet. And you see how there's 15 different choices for how people identify themselves? So just take a minute or two and try and condense them, however you want to. So you can see there's a did not specify, not willing to answer, no answer. Those are all the same thing essentially. So if you want to hover over, I'm going to hover over prefer not to answer, manually edit that, and I'm going to change it to no answer. And you hit apply, and now not willing to answer, I'm going to edit that and change it to no answer so that they can go into the same category. And you can see if someone here, half white, half Latino, you might want to make them all, a mixed category where you have individuals that stated 2 or more races, you can do that as well. Cool, so we can exit out of that now. This is to give you an idea of, it's kind of the problem when you give people a lot of options or you allow them to type in. They give you a lot of variation. So we'll X out of the ethnicity category. And now we're going to go over to address. So sometimes, not all the time, you want to split up information that's already in a column into multiple columns. So let's say if we have the full address here, but maybe you just want the street, number, or name, and then you want a separate column for the state, because you want to be able to figure out, okay, where are these students actually coming from, just in terms of state or zip code. So let's practice splitting up columns. So if you come to address, go to edit column, and then split into multiple columns. And what you'll see under here, it gives you the option, you can add a column based on this column, or you can split it into several columns based on the information that's also in the column. So we're going to go address, edit column, split into several columns, click on that. And so how you split the data is really important, because sometimes there's a space in between 2 words that you want to separate, and sometimes it's a comma. So it depends on how you're splitting it. So in the example of address, there's a comma between everything. So we want to keep the separator being the comma. So how do you split? Separate by, and you can see the comma's already in here. But if you wanted to do it by a space, you would have to put a space in. So go ahead and click OK, and see what it gives us. Okay, so our original address had 3 commas, so that's why it made 3 separate addresses here. Cool, so now what we're going to do is let's practice splitting this address, just the state and the zip code. Let's split that into 2 separate columns. So you come over to address, and then we're going to edit cells, edit column, and now this time we're going to add a column based on this column. Cool, did it bring you here? Awesome. So let's give this a new name. Let's call it state/zip. And here, we're gonna put in some code to tell the program how we wanted to separate it. So I wrote it, did I write it? So I wrote up the code here and I'll type it. So basically what we're telling the program is the value that you're looking at in that column, it's split it by the comma, the cells, and address 3. So in the expression box, you're going to type value, space, plus, space, quotation marks, comma, quotation marks, space, plus sign, space, cells, and then, I don't know what this is actually called, close bracket, okay. And then quotation marks, address, space, 3 quotation marks, close bracket, dot value. And so you'll see here it says no syntax error, so it can read that that is an actual command that we can give the program. But if there were an issue with your code, it would tell you, it would be highlighted in red.
What up? Meta coding.
Okay, take your time.
Okay.
Cool.
I misspelled it.
Okay. So hit OK. And you can see it split them out now. But let's go to, I want to show you there's other ways you can do it. You don't have to put in the code also. So if you come to undo, redo, click on what you just did, that command, and hit apply. So let's undo that. Oh crap, sorry, cancel that. Hit extract, select all, and then close. Okay, so did it get rid of what you just did? Hmm?
It's still there.
Oh, okay, give it a second.
Yeah, I missed it.
Did you undo the, oh, yeah.
Maybe I did.
Okay, so click on this. Okay, so click here actually. Yeah, and yeah.
No, I think I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Happened so fast. It's
So I did this one.
So if you were to hit extract, just select the, and it gives you, is that all the coding that it did in the background?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you're seeing now. Cool, so come out of undo. That was with code, but you don't have to do it also that way necessarily. So if you come to edit cells, I'm sorry, edit columns. I always confuse those two. So edit columns, and then split into several columns. Give it this time the separator, delete the comma, and just do a space. And hit OK. So you see it split those two. Where this is actually really useful is sometimes dates. A lot of times you'll have spreadsheets with dates and people will want like the month and the day and the year separated. You can do it in Excel, but this is really simple, a simple way to do it. Cool, so now, let's practice doing that with people's names. I'm gonna use a little bit of code. So we're gonna try separating without a pre-existing separator. So if you go under person, and go to edit column, and then we're gonna add a column based on this column. So let's say we want to separate the first name and the last name. So just title this new column last name. Cool, so we're gonna use a little code here. So under the expression, you're gonna do value dot split, parentheses, quotation, space, quotation, parentheses, close bracket 1, and then close that bracket. And what's nice is you can, even before you hit OK, you can see if it's doing what you're telling it to do, because it will show you over here. So we basically told it split it into one more column based on the separator. And you'll see here the separator is just the space. It's not a comma.
What's the one?
It's the second.
Yeah, it flips. You're moving it over into one column.
Yeah, so it counts, so computers count, I think, from 0. So it's the second item. So the first name is the 0th item, and the last name is the first item in computer language. Right?
Yeah, and so you're splitting it. It's basically saying the value that you're seeing in this column, split it based on the space in between the two. And you're splitting the first. Oh, well, yeah, if it starts at 0, then it would be kind of the second one. So hit OK and see if it splits them out for you. Do you have a last name column now?
Yep.
Awesome. Let's just remove the column to make sure we know how to remove the column. So if you just go to edit column, gives you the option to rename it. We're going to go ahead, let's just remove it.
Just bracket.
Cool, so you guys ready to go on to the next one? Yes. Okay, cool. So we'll do some mix cleaning now. If you come over to, oh, sorry. What is your yearly income for your household? So go to text Facet. And see, it's a little bit difficult here, and you have to decide how you want your data to be, because you'll see some people put in the $sign.
Yeah.
And if you go down, some people used commas, some people didn't. Some people did, you know, 0.00 after, or they put a K in, or they refused to answer also. So let's just click on cluster and see what options the program gives us. So you can see it's really smart. It's put a bunch in there for you that it recognizes are probably the same thing. So go ahead and merge the ones you want to merge. And decide if you want, if you're going to use commas, and if you're going to use $signs. Because you see in the new cell value, do you see how 50,000 they have a comma, 100,000 they don't? So we want it to be the same throughout. So let's go ahead and use commas. Do you guys want to use $signs or no? No $signs, okay. So no $signs in there, but keep the commas. So if you see a $sign in the new value, just delete it. So once you go ahead and delete the $signs and add in your commas, make sure you check that they're the same numbers and go ahead and tick the box to merge them. And then once you're done, just hit merge, select it, and close. Cool. So we brought that down, but do you see how at the top there's still a few that have the dollar signs? And the 0.00? Just go ahead and manually edit that and take out the dollar sign. Cool, so are you guys done with that part?
Yes.
Give me a minute. Cool, so we'll move on to the next part. It's okay if you didn't edit all of it all. It's just to show you, how it can help you merge and to make sure that you're keeping all your data similar. So we'll X out of that facet. Go back onto the top of what is your yearly income for your household. Click on the triangle. Go to Edit Cells and hit Transform. So we took out all the dollar signs, but let's say we wanted the dollar signs, or we wanted a plus sign or negative sign or whatever it is that you want. You could edit the cell and transform it to have that dollar sign. So let's go ahead, we're going to type quotation marks, dollar sign, quotation marks, plus sign, and value. So we can already see that it's doing what we've asked it to do, because it shows you what it's going to populate, and now we've got dollar signs in front of the number values. But then you see how don't know, it doesn't recognize that it's not an actual number, so it puts the dollar sign, so you'd have to go in and manually edit that and take out the dollar sign. So let's click OK. Yay, now we've got all that money and all those dollar signs. So let's go over to the colors column. So in this data sheet, I think it was asked, what's your favorite color, or to name a few colors. So you can see we have indigo, orange, and violet, green, yellow, a lot of different colors in there. Sometimes you'll want to replace a word or a theme that you're seeing in your data. So let's say, for example, let's go to colors, and let's say that we're going to, all the violet submissions will change to purple. So let's try and replace that and change it over. So go to colors, go to edit cells, and then transform. Cool. So, and I wrote the code up here. So it's value dot replace violet purple. So what you're basically telling it is the value in this column that we're working on, replace it is the action we want you to do. Whatever you find that's violet, replace it with the word purple. So we're going to type value dot replace. Oops. parentheses, violet, oopsie, oh no, yeah, violet, quotation marks, comma, quotation marks, purple, quotation marks, and then parentheses. Cool, so it's saying no syntax error, so we should be good to go. And what you'll see here, value replace violet purple. You'll see now that was violet, now it's purple. So let's hit OK. And let's split into several columns. Say you wanted all those colors in their own separate column, depending on which ones were given. So you'll go under colors, edit column, split into several columns. And the colors were split by a column. So go ahead and hit OK. Now we have 4 different categories of colors. Now go back to undo, redo, and just undo what you just did. So extract, select all, close that. Mine didn't do it. Did yours go back into one column? So go to, it should be 43, or go to the one right above it. Since we made changes in that, you have to undo both functions. So go to the text transform, extract that, select all, and then close. And it should put them all back into one column. Cool. So I want you guys to practice now. Choose which category and just practice replacing a word. So choose mixed and replace it with any other word you want. And see if it works for you. So remember, we go under the category, edit cells, transform, and then put in your code. So I just decided I'm going to make mine replace anything that says mix into biracial. And you can do whatever you want to do, but just see if it actually works for you. Were you able to replace it with something else? It should be the exact same code, you're just changing the 2 words. It didn't change, did you check your code?
I'm gonna try that.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably, it could be maybe you put in a space. Oops. Could you replace it? Okay, cool. Was it your code?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's always a space or something.
Yeah, little space.
Yeah. Okay, so so let's say sometimes you want to find out sometimes you only want to work with the data if a respondent responded a certain way. So let's say you could, again, there's a lot of ways you could do it. You could just filter and just choose Asian Pacific Islander. But if we want to be fancy, let's try something else. Let's say if we want to pull out only the data under which category best describes you that are Asian Pacific Islanders. And we want to know, we want it to tell us yes or no if they identify themselves as such. So you're going to go to under category, go to edit columns, and add column based on this column. And go ahead and title this, Are They Pacific Islander? Great, so I wrote the code up there. So basically we're going to ask, and again, this is all you could do in Excel too. So we're going to say if the value in this column contains the word Pacific Islander, tell us yes or no. So in the new column, it'll give us a yes or a no as to whether they responded that way. So you'll type if parentheses value dot contains parentheses, and then what is that called again? Apostrophe? Not quotations, it's just a one. Okay, mini quotations, that small one. Do that and then type Asian / Pacific Islander. That mini quotation mark, and then parentheses, comma, mini quotation mark, yes, mini quotation mark, comma, again, no, and then close it out. See, it's just weird. Okay. Yeah, it's doing it right, sorry. So go ahead and click OK. Actually, go to undo.
Is it case specific?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's why. So did yours go through fine?
No, because it said where there was Asian / Pacific Islander, it said no, even though it
was yes. Okay,
so
so
I guess I must have done it in lowercase.
no, mine did the exact same thing.
Okay.
So go ahead and undo that. So extract, select all, close it. Okay, cool. Did yours undo?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you have to do that whole extract thing? Because I noticed if you just click the one above it, the step above it on the little sidebar, it just changes it on its own.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's way easier. Perfect. So yeah, that's great. Thank you. So let's try that again. Let's try and, okay, we'll add a column based on this column.
This one?
I think it's the space. So do if value dot contains. So try the same thing we just did and see if you can get it to do it right. Okay, mine works now. Okay, mine works because, you see there's actually a space here. See, it's Asian, space, backslash, space, Pacific Islander. So now it's working. So it can be a little finicky, so you have to be a little careful of how you type it in.
Wait. Oh, Asian slash.
Yeah, but make sure you have a space. So there's a space right after Asian and then a space right after the backslash.
Gotcha.
Did you do the space?
Yes.
But did you do the space here and then here?
Oh, after Asian?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Because it's going to follow exactly how it's written in your data.
Okay.
Was it the space?
It was, yeah, it's so particular.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can control for that where it's like, it doesn't really, it's not really so sensitive and very picky about the spaces?
Well, see, it's actually, short answer is no. You just have to be really careful about it. But it's going to, the reason why that part was really hard is because it's following how it was written in here.
Okay.
That's what the issue is, because whoever input that data, they did it with space. So what you could do is just not do spaces. I try to not put spaces when I input things in general.
Okay.
And even when you give your respondents an option, if it's like a survey or a questionnaire, try not to keep spaces between words. That might help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to try it, and it'll always be in red, the syntax error, so you know it's not working, so you can go back. Cool, so let's go, we're just gonna do one more thing, and I'll show you how to export, be good to go. So let's check out the GPA. So let's go GPA text facet. And then let's go ahead and click on 3.9. We want to see who has a 3.9 in the data set. So you can see it gave us 28 people that have a 3.9. So under the All tab at the top, click on that and go to Edit Rows and click on Star Rows. So what we did is just go to GPA text facet, click on 3.9, and then under the tab All, go to Edit Rows and click on Star Rows. So it basically just stars all the ones that you were just looking at. Now, X out of GPA, go back to GPA. It unfortunately doesn't give you the option to star different categories all at one time. So let's say if we want to look at GPAs 3.9, 4.0, and 4, we have to do this separately each time. So go back to GPA, to text facet, look for GPA, we can see there's 30 people. And then we're going to do the same thing, go to all, edit rows, and now star those rows. Cool, so now exit out of that, go back to GPA, and click text facet. Now let's click on GPA, that's 4.1. You can see there's only 5 students here. You're gonna do the same thing, go to all, edit rows, and star. Awesome, so let's exit out of those text facets. Did you edit all 3, did you start all 3 GPAs? Perfect. So now we're going to go to all, select facet, and go to facet by star. And you see when you do facet by star, it gives you false or true. So it's basically saying 63 have a star next to them, which is the same number of students with GPAs of 3.9, 4, and 4.1. So it's only giving us those ones. So click on true. Awesome. So now, by clicking on true, we're only looking at the data of students that have a GPA of 3.9 or higher. So let's say that's exactly what we wanted. We only wanted our data sheet to have just those students particularly. So now you're going to come up to export. You want to make this a CSV file, comma separated value, click on that. And let's go ahead and open it. Or you could save it, but that's basically how you would export your file. So you can see now, we didn't get the entire spreadsheet of all the data from that file. We only got the students that have a GPA of 4, 3.9, and 4. 4.1, 4, 3.9. Cool, so that was everything we were going to go through in the tutorial. And all of this is on the file that's on the website, so if you want to go through it again, you can go through it again also. But you see how it's just, I don't know, I think Open Refine for cleaning data just is, it looks friendlier than this. And it's free, so it's nice to use. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. Did you have a chance to sign in? Awesome. And if you have any questions, I'll be around for some more time so you can come over and ask me.